Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight of the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the host bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Today's date is November 7th, 2020. This is my grandfather, Vincent Serbo. His birth date is September 18th, 1939. Yeah. First question. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted
Where were you living at the time?
in Providence.
Why did you join?
Well, at that time, I could have waited to be drafted, and rather than be drafted, I wanted to join the branch of service that I wanted to. So I joined the Army, Army Reserve, and where I had friends that were already in the unit. This way here I would could pick my more or less my choice of MOS, which is your military occupational status. You had that choice if you had joined.
Do you recall your first days in service?
Yes, I do.
What did it feel like?
Well, it was kind of a surprise. I had somewhat skeptical. Was I going to like this or not? I didn't know. Everything was different. Going through the lines, I had to get all kinds of medical shots, examinations to see if you're fit, of course, at that time. And it was kind of, wasn't scary, but it was the unknown. And that there was a little bit of, felt a little stress. And but I knew this is something I had to do.
Tell me about your boot camp training experiences.
My boot camp was in basic training. They referred to as it was 8 weeks in Fort. That was in New Jersey and Fort Dix. Big base. I was held there for about a week in the reception area where we got issued our clothes, and then into basic training. Getting up 5 o'clock in the morning after you were assigned to a unit, which my unit had, it was Company B. So the company had 4 platoons, 265 of us. And They gave us our clothing, bedding, and that was strange, and duties. Each one of us was picked, or we volunteered to do a different task. Who was cleaning, and who was on guard duty. There's always someone on guard during the night. Someone has to guard, stay up all night long with a light and walk through the barracks. Get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. We did our exercises running. After we took a shower and shaved first, got in formation, and then we were assigned to different fields or different duties at different schools. Most of it was firing weapons, you know, throwing grenades, all that, all artillery work. You know, learning about the weapons.
You put your lives out on the line, not once or twice, but all the time. You sacrificed to heed the call. You gave your best, you gave your all. You kept us safe all day and night. You served with honor to do what's right. You kept us free, that's why it's true. Oh, veterans, we love you. You put your lives, out on the line, not once or twice, but all the time. You sacrificed to be the call. You gave your best, you gave your all. You kept us safe all day and night. You served with honor to do what's right. You kept us free, that's why it's true. Oh, veterans, we love you. You kept us free, that's why it's true. Oh, veterans, we love you.
Do you remember your instructors?
Yes, yes. Yep. We had a young instructor, a sergeant. That was our platoon leader. He was. I remember him. He looked a lot like young-looking baby face. We used to call him Audie Murphy because he looked just like Audie Murphy. Very young-looking baby face. His wife, we met, and he had a child that lived off on the base too. So we got to meet her and his young child. We liked him. He was good to us. Tough, but good to us.
How did you get through it?
Good. I did well. I didn't have any problem. We had our KP duties, which is very tough. You work until like 5 in the morning till like 9 at night. Going, never stop. Everyone goes through KP. I made colonel's orderly twice. That involved knowing your general orders and your special orders. It was an honor to make colonel's orderly twice. They notify your family and your employer back at home when you do this. It's an honor to do that.
Which war did you serve in?
I didn't serve in the war. I served when there was a war. I served at the Vietnam War, time era, Vietnam War.
Where exactly did you go?
I was in at the time of the war. I was at school at Fort Benning, Georgia. After leaving basic training, completing basic training, I was had 2 weeks off, and then we went to Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia, the Army Infantry Center.
Do you remember arriving and what was it like?
Very hot, like 95 degrees in Georgia, and this was in late July, and loaded with bugs. Hot, 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 very hot.
What was your job?
My job was, at that time, assigned to Fort Benning, Georgia to, I was going to electronic school to be a radio mechanic, to repair radios for communication.
Did you ever see combat?
No, never seen combat.
Were there any casualties in your unit?
In my unit, there was, some of them were assigned to go to Vietnam, and some of them even died there. They would show us, let us know. Yeah, during Vietnam, right. This was during the Kennedy administration, John Kennedy administration.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Well, let's see. Watching the airborne paratroopers being trained, jumping from the towers 300 feet high. That was interesting, watching them. And watching also the special forces down there going out, and they would release them by themselves in the southern part of Georgia, in the jungles of Georgia, in a very swampy area, to survive their, to give them survival training. That was interesting seeing that.
Patriotism to me is love. I know that some people in this world will say it right from a dictionary, that patriotism is love and support for your country, but this is to me. Love and support, heck yeah, I have it, but it's mostly love that counts for me. Love is important, and so is patriotism. So why can't we just say they're the same and call it a day? Because they're so different in reality. Love is compassion, love is kind. Patriotism, however, is sometimes the complete opposite. When I think of patriotism, I think of battles, wars, court arguments, violent and non-violent protests, and a lot more. Patriotism is not for the faint of heart. It takes strength and power to describe one's love and support to their country in public. They could be anxious or scared or embarrassed to express their feelings of love. Or they could be completely different, say, very open to expressing their feelings. I'm definitely open to express my love for everything, especially my country and religion. When I was about 8 years old, I asked my mother what patriotism means. I didn't listen to her answer very much, but I learned later that day. Looked it up right from Google, but it was a bland answer in my opinion. When I want to know what something means, I don't want love and support for your country. I want something bold, big, and beautiful representing my beautiful country and mine and others' love for it. So I don't want to have to be that person who has to ask people what things mean, like patriotism, because I should have already known it. I am a human being, and I say, let me express my love to my family, country, and world without being judged by my race, religion, or my gender. That is patriotism to me.
What was life like in the service?
What was it like?
Yes.
Completely different from back at home. But you get established and you have friends. Friends that you have become your family because you depend on them for help if you need anything. It was a good experience, and I think that I can say most people would enjoy it. You know,
How did you stay in touch with your family?
only through the mail. Yeah, you don't, didn't have much time to call, but once in a while, maybe about every 2 or 3 weeks, I could make a call home and just say hello. But most of it was just strictly mail.
What was the food like?
Food was great. Yep. In my unit down in Georgia, we had a West Point Captain Campbell. He was a West Point graduate. He was just come back from Vietnam. In fact, he served there, and he changed. We had breakfast 4 different ways. He gave us a choice, and the food I thought was really great. They, great food.
What were some of the pranks that you or others would pull?
We would short sheet them.
What does that
You,
mean?
well, what we do is we fold the sheet in half, so when they jump into bed, right, they couldn't put their feet down because we went half sheets. So when they got into bed at night, right, there was no place to put their feet. We sure, they call them short sheet. That was a joke. We played. Never catch one. No.
Do you recall the day your service ended and where were you?
The day my service ended was when I left. Well, I had left Fort Benning, Georgia, in November. I believe it was November 3rd. Of course, I had to fly back home, which was in Rhode Island. The temperature in Fort Benning was 85 degrees, and when I arrived home, it was like 45, raining. It's like a shock that day. I remember that pulling into New York and taking the plane out of New York. It was it was about 45 degrees and pulling into Rhode Island. It was very cold and damp day.
That's the end of our questions, so thank you, Papa, for sitting down with me and doing this interview.
You're welcome.
Thank you to all of our veterans and active duty military. Our students and staff missed our usual gathering this year, but no, we did not forget about you. Thank you for all that you have done and continue to do.